Hi friends, welcome to Diksuchi. Today we are going to learn cost of capital with Dr. Sabita Godasu. Earlier there is another video on the same topic, that is cost of capital, earlier to that capital structure. So if you listen to those videos, then you can thoroughly understand the further concepts related to cost of capital. So to summarize that, the cost of capital is the required return which is necessary to make a capital budgeting project. So the cost of capital can be studied in three different ways. One is concept, second importance, third types. All three together can be discussed at a time, but the concept was covered in the previous video. Now we are going to study the types, and later on we are going to study the importance. Let us see, before going for the in detail of these types, we just brief the components of cost of capital. Those are cost of debt, cost of preference share capital, and cost of equity share, and cost of retained earnings. All the four were discussed in the previous slides. So cost of debt formula also discussed, that is interest into I minus T, and cost of preference share, that is amount of preference dividend by preference share capital, and cost of equity was capital asset pricing model, that is RF into beta into EM minus RF. So these were discussed in the previous videos. Now we are coming to the retained earnings. So retained earnings means it is not possible for any company which is initially starting its operations. Once the operation started, once they started gaining the profits, and they are going to retain the amount out of those profits instead of spending or instead of distributing among the shareholders, the amount whatever they are retaining with the company for further expansion or for anything, that is generally considered as a retained earning. And for this retained earnings, sometimes though these retained earnings are also taken into consideration for cost of capital, for capital structure. So when it will happen? This will happen only after certain period of operation started of any particular company, and if they retain anything out of their profits. So how this is a part of their capital structure? So other than the debt, preference share capital and equity share capital, still if they want money, they can take it from retained earnings. How they can understand or how they can analyze how much retained earnings they left with? So this is a formula what we are going to use it. That is beginning of retained earnings. It means that beginning of the financial year, whatever is there in the company, that is retained earnings, plus net income. In this financial year, whatever the amount they got it, that is net income. It may be profit or loss. If it is profit, will be added to beginning of retained earnings. If it is a loss, it will be subtracted. Out of the total amount, the dividends also will be subtracted. Then the leftover amount is the retained earnings for this specific financial year. Okay, so this is what the fourth part under the capital structure to calculate the cost of capital. Now let us see how the cost of capital can be calculated. Since beginning we are going on talking that the debt, preference share capital and equity share capital and retained earnings are the part of this. Yes, but retained earnings, as we discussed just now, those are not exclusive part of this cost of raising the capital, but it may be a part of it in future period. So that's the reason the general cost of capital formula will be considered as weight of debt into cost of debt. Means how much portion you have raised, that amount into cost of debt. Cost of debt is how much, how you calculate? We have already discussed the formula. Then weight of preference share capital into cost of preference share capital, plus weight of equity into cost of equity. This was also discussed in the previous videos in detail. So I request you to go back and listen to that video. You can come back to this so that you can clearly understand the further concepts what we are going to talk about. cost of capital is. Okay, let us move on to the next one. So the next and very most important topic is weighted average cost of capital. So till the previous slide, we were saying that there are four concepts we are going to consider, out of which one has dropped. What is that? That is retained earnings. Now left over with three. What are those? Debt, preference share capital and equity share capital. Of course, we discussed earlier the preference share capital is not used especially in India, and most of the companies are not entertaining that preference share capital. So we left over with only two. Those are cost of equity and cost of debt. So that is how the weighted average cost of capital is going to be calculated. So weighted average cost of capital is equal to cost of equity plus cost of debt. You know how the cost of equity is calculated? We have discussed in the previous slide and this slide also by taking the formula, and cost of debt also we discussed. Let us see a small example on this. Okay, so this is what the formula again, the equity, the cost of equity and cost of debt. Yes. Now let us see a small formula on that, problem on that. The firm's overall cost of capital is actually depend on the weighted average cost of these costs, because we have to weight them, how much portion you are raising the debt and how much portion you are raising the equity. Both clubbed together is what the weighted average of the cost of capital, right? Now, so let us see an example. An enterprise with a capital structure consisting of 70% equity and 30% debt, means out of 100 portion, 70% raised through equity and 30% raised through debt. Then they are also given, luckily they have given you, we need not to calculate the cost of equity and cost of debt here. In the problem they have directly given it. Anyway, we have discussed how to calculate the cost of equity and cost of debt in the previous videos. So we need not to bother that how it will be calculated, right? Yes. Let us go ahead. So cost of equity they have given 10% and cost of debt is 7%. Now what is the weighted average cost of capital? That is weight into cost of equity. Weight of debt into cost of debt means weight of equity is 70%. So that is 0.7 times or 70% into what is cost of equity? 10%. So you are writing 10%. So 70% into 10% plus what is debt? 30%. So proportion is 30%, cost of debt is 7%. So 30% into 7%. 30% in the sense 0.3 times into 7%. So how you are going to get it? 0.7 into 10% plus 0.3 into 7%. So total put together how much you got it? 9.1%. Means whatever the amount they are earning, that if you consider as 100%, out of which they need to pay 9.1% as cost of weighted average cost of capital, means cost of capital, right? This have to be paid back to the others. So that is how we calculate weighted average cost of capital. Clear? Okay. Now let us see the difference between the cost of capital and the discount rate. Sometimes we use KD also as a discount rate or cost of capital, right? But there is a difference between the cost of capital and the discount rate. What is the difference? So if you see the cost of capital, generally it is calculated by the company's finance department. Finance department means they have to analyze how much rate they need to pay back because of raising the funds. Whereas discount rate is generally will be calculated by or for the investment purpose. Okay, generally by the management. They use how much discount they are able to give to others, how much discount they can get it from others, from suppliers or from vendors, like that. So that is what the major difference between cost of capital and discount rate. Okay, so cost of capital is the amount at which we have raised the capital, whereas discount rate is how much leverage we can take it from raising funds or from buying something from others, right? So that is what the major difference between cost of capital and the discount rate. Okay, yeah, let us see the next one. The other important concept related to cost of capital is marginal cost of capital. What is marginal cost of capital? Actually, the total weights will be considered, like cost of debt, cost of equity, cost of preference, everything will be taken into consideration along with their respective weights. But marginal cost is even a single additional unit is produced. The cost for that additional single unit is what the marginal cost. See, for example, you are producing 1000 units. So the cost for 1000 units is 2000 units, let us assume. So your average cost is 2 rupees, right? 2000 divided by 1000, 2 rupees. But if you produce 1001 unit, definitely the additional one unit will not take just 2 rupees. It definitely may take 2 rupees 50 paisa. Then the additional cost is 2 rupee 50 paisa, right? That is what the marginal cost. The additional cost incurred for producing the additional unit of product, right? That is what the marginal cost. So because of which the total cost is going to be changed and the change in the quantity is happened, right? So marginal cost of formula is change in total cost divided by change in quantity. Now total cost has changed, no? So as per our example, 2000 plus 2 rupees 50 paisa. So 2200 rupees 50 paisa divided by the change in quantity. What is the quantity changed? 1001. That is how the marginal cost of capital is going to be calculated. Okay? Yes. So this is if you take weighted average of all the sources, like proportion sources 1, source 2, source 3, because everywhere an additional unit may be produced. In every point of raising the funds, you may be adding to some other additional price. So that is what the weighted marginal cost of capital can be calculated. It is also same as the cost of capital, but the sources there but here the sources are, unless you produce, you cannot know about it, right? So that is how the marginal cost of capital is going to be calculated. Now let us see the importance of cost of capital for this particular slide. In future, we are going to discuss about the importance of cost of capital in capital budgeting decisions. Okay, that is in another video. Now, let us see the importance of cost of capital in this video. First, the cost of capital aids businesses and investors. How it is going to help them in evaluating all possible investment opportunities, where they can invest, how much they can invest, So if they have the clear idea on that, based on which they can raise the funds. Okay, so it does so by turning future cash flows into present value by keeping it discount. So future value, see, for example, they are expecting 1000 rupees. But if they are expecting 1000 rupees as a profit, definitely they have to pay some 9 rupees or 10 rupees. Right? So their marginal value should be like how much? 1000 plus 9. Or else, if at all they raise 1000 rupees, then 10 rupees is paid in terms of the cost of capital. Then 990 rupees will be their profit. That is how they are going to analyze. Okay, then next one is the cost of capital can also aid in making key company budget calls, in the sense use what kind of financial sources as capital. For example, equity is costing high, then they reduce the weightage of raising the funds through equity. If they feel that the debt is more, the cost of debt is more, then they reduce the amount of debt. So that is how they can analyze it. So once they know the cost of capital, within the cost of capital, they try to raise the funds and they try to identify the sources of raising the funds. Yeah, the third importance of cost of capital is this helps us to evaluate the ongoing project's performances, right? So that we can raise the funds or we can decline the funds. So we can identify whether we are getting a good profits to pay back the cost of capital, and there is an opportunity to gain more and more profits. Further, we can raise the funds. So that is how the cost of capital is going to be held, right? The last part in this video is the forms of cost of capital. Generally, the forms of cost of capital you may not have heard anywhere, but you definitely might have heard about implicit cost and explicit cost, which are very, very important. But these are the forms of cost of capital. Let us see these two main forms of cost of capital, right? So first is implicit cost. What is the implicit cost? This is the cost of an investment opportunity considered, but ultimately not taken. It is considered but not taken, right? There is no bottom line reduction in revenues. It's implied, means it is already implied. It is applied to it. It is confined to it, right? So under the cost of capital model, it can be factored into opportunity cost not earned, because we are saying no, it is implied, right? It is considered. It may not be taken, but this can be considered as an opportunity cost. That is what the implicit cost is. Same way, the explicit cost. If you consider the explicit cost, the explicit cost is the cost that the companies can use to make capital investments payable back to the investors. How they are going to pay back to the investors? They are going to increase, means that is going to increase the price of the stock, and the management also can pay to the equity shareholders a huge dividend amount. That we generally consider as an explicit cost. Okay, so explicit cost is the company can use to make capital investments. Capital investments means they are investing somewhere else to gain more and more profits, so that the profits can be generated, the profits can be distributed among the equity shareholders, and because of the good growth in the company, good profits growth in the company share value also may increase. So that is called explicit cost. Right here? Yes. So that's it for this video, friends, and we'll meet again in the next video with the importance of cost of capital in the capital budgeting decisions. Till then, bye bye, take care, see you.